Hi there. Today I'm taking a look at one of Italy's slightly overlooked grape varieties, Barbera. So this is a Barbera de Alba, 2013 vintage, a wine called Piani from a producer called Pelissero. Pelissero themselves are primarily producers of their top wines, Barbarescos, and they're in a place called Treiso in the Barbaresco region. But generally what you'll find is that Barbera is slightly overlooked because it's the grape variety that grows on those sites that aren't warm enough for Nebbiolo to grow successfully. It's a wine that has slightly less tannins than Nebbiolo has, although it has slightly better colour. Actually what we have here is quite interesting in that the Piani hillside where this grows is a west-facing hillside, so actually quite a good site, but because it has clay soils it's a little bit colder and therefore it's probably not warm enough to make top quality Nebbiolo. But at the same time the Pelisseros have a site which is better than a lot of the sites used for Nebbiolo. So what they're doing here is they've got old vines. They've got two lots of vines. The oldest were 70 years old when this wine was made, and the rest were 10 years old. So you're getting lovely concentrated fruits. They keep the yields nice and low, and they then age the wine for a period of 8 to 9 months. About 30 to 40% of it goes into barrique, and the balance of that goes into 50 hectolitre oak casks. So to try and enhance the tannins and make a wine that has more body structure and more ageability, because it's still got a lovely acidity that's typical of Barbera. So let's have a look at this wine, shall we? We've got a medium depth of ruby red. It's quite dark pigmentation, but it's not particularly sort of deep. I can see through the white, so it's a medium depth of colour. The aromas, as I say, this is a 2013, so 9-year-old wine, nice bit of age there, and the aromas as a result are quite mellow. There's a sort of a slight meatiness to it, but actually it's a sort of meaty, mushroomy, maybe slightly balsamic notes there, but they are actually all quite nicely together, and those developed notes are overpowering the sort of the red cherry, red plum sort of fruits that's in the wine. So let's have a taste. The wine has good acidity. I mean, it's dry. There's a real contrast between the fresh mouth-watering acidity and the bitterness, the coffee notes of the tannins there. Again, those developed sort of mushroomy notes come through, and as I say, a balsamic touch. There's a smoothness, but the tannins are fine and grainy, and there's a mid-weight of them in the mid-palate, and then the acidity comes back over them again, leaving the finish fresh with some almost sort of quite fresh red fruit, a tiny touch of raspberry, I guess, there, but at the same time still that balsamic note. The flavours last really nicely, and yes, there's the freshness, and there's a bitterness on the finish as well. I suppose there are coffee notes that note that. Slightly drying from the tannic structure. A really nicely together wine. As I say, it leaves my mouth feeling salivating. It's quite mouth-watering. So would make a lovely counterpoint for a lot of dishes that have fair degrees of sort of protein in them. So yes, Barbera d'Alba from Giorgio Pelissero. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you find it interesting. Bye now.